Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
California.
Oh, toward me? Really? Whoa. How's that? I'm a loudspeaker. Hi, my name's Kelly. I am an alcoholic. Whoa, that is loud. Hi. Hi, family. Wow, this is awesome. I want to first thank Clyde and Sandy. You guys have been so gracious and so wonderful, and thank you for asking me to come up here and do this. Not to mention just your story is beautiful. And, you know, it takes a lot to put on something like this. A whole lot. It takes a lot of time, especially when you got a lot of puzzle pieces to put together. And, you know, love and service is important. And I know that some people were sitting, Carrie at registration, gave me my first hug at the registration desk. Oh. And Tiffany gave us our t-shirts, and Cynthia. Oh, I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Hi, Gabby. And I want to say welcome to the women from Acton. Woo-woo! It's a destination, not a journey. I can tell you, I get that, because I got in here and I'm like, okay, what do I got to do so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about and you guys will like me? I want to know what, no, it's like, where are the cliff notes? I got to quick. I got to get there. You know, I got to get my steps done before anybody else so that I'm healed. You know? Let your ice cube melt. Yeah. Don't put a blow dryer to it, just let your ice cube melt. And the raffle table, I love raffle tables. Oh my gosh. There's a basket out there. There's a fryer, like a deep fryer, right next to the adult aprons. So you can wear your adult apron, use the fryer. There's 2 aprons in there, so you can find somebody here at the convention. And then there's right next to it, if you win the basket with the journal, you can call your sponsor and journal about what you did when you were using the fryer and the apron. I'm like, I could use each one of these. Woohoo! Like I said, my name's Kelly. I am an alcoholic. I was always an alcoholic. I think I was born sober, to my knowledge. I don't know whether I was born with it or developed it, honestly. I know Eddie Cochran used to have this thing where he'd say, you know, whether you were born with it or whether you developed it. But the fact of the matter is that I'm glad I figured out I got it. And I'm glad you guys knew what to do once I figured that out and that I found you guys. You know, I wouldn't be here without it. I wouldn't be here without you guys, for sure. You know, I come from a small town back east, Philadelphia, and yeah. Well, we moved to a small town after that called Schuylkill Haven. Somebody knows the Schuylkill County? Oh, yeah. I spoke in Tehachapi. They were telling me it's a small town. They have like 3 lights. Schuylkill Haven only has 1, I think. But, you know, I come from a long line of alcoholics. And it's interesting because, you know, I don't know when my first drink was. Yeah, our family drink was Windsor and water. When you were really little, you know, you could take the ice cubes of your parents, or you know. whether that makes me an alcoholic or not. I know when my sister would take the ice cubes, she'd go, right? Can I have her ice cubes? So I may have liked the taste of it before I knew. I don't know, you know? And I don't know, we all kind of grow up with kind of wanting to figure out who we are. But from a very early age, I kind of could relate to, you know, the people that my dad hung out with, and, you know. I have an uncle that used to hide guns in the wall, right? And I was like this high to the stove, and I'm thinking, that's so cool. I want to hide stuff in the wall. I love Uncle Tony. I had another uncle that was shot in the head, wrapped in chains, thrown into the Susquehanna River. Yeah, so there's no dysfunction that comes from my family either, you know. We all have colorful stories. My one uncle used to just follow me home from school with a gun out the window looking for my aunt. Where's your aunt? I'm like, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. I have friends that go to this school, okay? But I think early on, and my grandfather and my Aunt June, you know, they were people that had such character and such grace, and almost, I think, I don't know whether I would have ever lived to, you know, that caliber of a human being, you know. But the bikers that my dad was, you know, getting dope from, I was like, they're cool. I could probably do that, you know. Mom moved to this small town, and Catholic school. You know, my dad, because she left an abusive dad, my father. And, you know, he always knew how to be your buddy. He didn't know how to be a parent. He also didn't know how to make bruises on my mom. But he was really cool, and I always thought I was going to be like him because I have his thumbs and his nose and, you know, his big toes, curly hair. But he sent me pot through the mail when I was in 5th grade. I was like 10, right? I didn't know anything about pot, you know? But I quickly figured out that if I took it down to the playground and gave it to the older kids, they would like me. So I'm developing my tools for living very early on. I know what to get you, what you want, or what you like, so that you like me. 7th or 8th grade, we're smuggling, you know, drinks into the Catholic school, and the nuns expel everyone except for me. Because Grandma broke ground for the church, so, you know, Kelly just had to clean the rectory or something. So I knew how to name drop, get away with what I wanted to get away with, and get you to like me. I'm doing so good so far. You know, in high school, I didn't know how to be, you know, that A student. But I went to 7 proms. We're likable people. I was homecoming queen, student council president, captain of the swim team. I even had a varsity letter from the men's wrestling team. Yeah. What you can. We only had like 84 in my whole class, but okay, you know, overachiever that I was. Yeah, I didn't really get the good grades or anything else, but I knew how to drink the football players under the table. You know? Anything that would get you to look at me and go, yeah. My sister drank kamikazes with me once and ended up at the bottom of the stairs, and my mom was like, oh, and they were so worried about her. I'm like, yeah, she's the alcoholic, sure. No, it was the one getting away with it, you know. I had to quickly move out to California. Grandma thought I got lost going to the store, but, you know, I had to go somewhere. You know, and out here it was, you know, I tried to go to school. Kind of like Bill, it was like, school's not for me. I don't know why they don't give you grades for just sleeping a drunk off in the parking lot and missing class, but go figure. Until Christmas Day, when I was about 20, you know, my charismatic family. I don't know what happened, but at some point on Christmas Day, my mom was taken from us, suspiciously. And I got a phone call. And I went home and I had custody of my little sisters. And I remember clearly that ride home on the airplane thinking, I got this big L on my forehead. They're going to figure me out. They may have believed in me before, but I can't do this. I can't be in charge of stuff. You know? They're going to find out. I'm not all that. So what I do, I go home drinking the, gun clubs and the little bars, and everybody go, you look like your mom. And I'm like, I know. Because my mourning was, and grieving my mom was based on what I got from you. It wasn't about looking inside. Oh, no, we're not going there. But if I could get a look off of you, it was all right. My drinking escalated. I forget who it was. Was it Sandy that hit a couple trees or poles or something? Yeah. I'd drive with you. I remember one time I vaguely remember slowly going off a mountain on some ice, coming home with a tree branch, and I'm like, how'd that get there? Who put the tree in my way? Couldn't have been those flaming shots. I drank with Wolfman Jack at a gun club. You can tell who it is. If any of the young people went, it's not the guy that owns the restaurants. That's the different guy. This is, yeah, seriously, somebody goes, is he the one that owns the restaurants? No. Slapped some chalk on my hands and played some pool. I like anything that comes out from behind the bar in a mason jar. It's like stops your heart. The clear, ooh, yum. And I drank a lot of it. And I didn't take care of the things I was supposed to be taking care of. I didn't take care of my sisters. I didn't take care of the house and, my mom's stuff. But I slowly, started doing what I needed to do to drink what I needed to drink. And some of the most amazing family members, I treated their homes like it was a hotel. I came and go as I pleased. I'd steal from my grandmother and walk her to church in the morning. Those filling up the Windsor bottles with something other than the Windsor, just so because I was starting to get a little shaky. Just a little. I think that's when I learned the hair of the dog that bit you. What a great saying. That's what I need to drink in the morning. And I'm drinking, and finally, there's things that I said I would never, ever do that I did. There's things I swore I'd never hurt, and I did. I just think my beautiful aunt, she ended up taking the custody away from me from my sisters, and I went and stayed in a car or in a friend's business, and then with my high school friend until finally it's like, what happens then. You gotta go. Time for me to go back to California. Especially when you're getting those talks from family members, we're concerned. Whatever. So I came back here to California and drank. Drinking a gallon of whiskey a day. Yeah. And that young little homecoming queen, athlete. Because, I had no problem saying I was an alcoholic or that it might be an issue, but it's not going to kill me. I'm young. It's not going to kill me. I'm an athlete. Even at 240 pounds, gray skin, yellow eyes, no hair on the back of my head. It's what they call a vision for you. I know it. So funny. It's one of my very first meetings. How ironic it is. I have no hair on the back of my head, right? Because I've lost it from drinking. And I'm sitting in this meeting just being, soaking it all in, right? Whatever. And there's a woman in the corner. Her name's Betty Garcia. And she's spinning her hair. She's got this long, gray, hippie hair. Me, with no hair on the back of my head. She's too old to have that hair. Oh my God, she's still talking. I don't like her. She pointed to some things that are up on this banner on the wall and talked about that. I don't know what she said. Still can't tell you what Betty Garcia said. I can tell you one thing, though. I know how she made me feel. Because one of the first things she did after that meeting was over was she came up and put out her hand to me. Still don't know what she said, but I know how she made me feel. And she made me feel like it was okay for me to come back the next day. We don't walk in here perfect. I know I didn't. And I didn't hear everything that I was supposed to hear, but I know what I felt. So if you're new, welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. Stick around. Like I said, let your ice cube melt. Yeah. So this yellow-eyed, gray skin, no hair on the back of my head. I'd have to crawl into my roommate's room or into the bathroom in the morning to suck on a washcloth so I could get enough water into my system so I could spit up enough blood so that I might be able to, it's a good day when you got like this much left in the bottle. Just enough to get you through to get to the store. Whew. But you can't waste it. And I knew I was going to get sick, so I'd have to suck on the washcloth because I wasn't able to stand up by myself to get anything in the kitchen. So I could spit up enough blood so I could drink down the whiskey so that I could maybe get to the store and get a little bit more. By the time that key opened in the latch and they're open at 6, it's like, whew. The sense of ease and comfort that came from that was delightful. So that I could do a little more, so I could get a little more, so I can go through the day, so I could miss the mark and then do it all over the next day. Did that stop me? No. You know when it says frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices? I could not figure out what that meant when I was sober, early sobriety. I was, of course, a vision for you with my gray skin, yellow eyes, and 240 pounds. And I would bring whiskey in a teacup to my friend's place of business where I was the receptionist with a little tea bag on a string, just the tag off the side, because I'm thinking the whiskey looks the same. Nobody's going to know, right? And this customer comes up, interrupting my day, me as the receptionist, and she goes, "My grandfather died of alcoholism. He turned yellow before he died." I was like, whatever, woman. She's so annoying. Go away. Why is she telling me this? My eyes aren't that yellow, right? Womp, 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 womp. Frothy emotional appeal. Like on top of a cappuccino, just blow it off, right? I didn't hear a word she said. But if that woman would have walked up and said, "Oh, thanks so much. And, I gotta go. I'm on my way to an AA meeting. I stopped drinking a few years ago. I actually turned yellow before I stopped. All right, bye. It was nice meeting you." Oh, I think I would have grabbed her arm. Maybe even went, "Did you see my eyes are yellow? How did you do it? You don't drink anymore?" You know why? Because she didn't point at me. She didn't jab her finger into my chest. She just talked my language, man. Her message or her words had depth and weight, and she was just telling what she had done. That's what we do here. Pretty cool, huh? So yellow eyes, gray skin, spitting up blood. I stopped drinking milk around this time, too, because I thought I must be lactose intolerant. Does not mix well sometimes with, whiskey. And one time my dad took me to the hospital, Harbor General, and I just remember the lady's eyes went boing, and I don't remember anything else except waking up in the ER, and I'm 22 years old, and my heart had stopped. But it's not going to kill me. Who needs that? Really? My heart stopped twice because of alcohol. I know, annoying. So I just remember that, when they would look at you when you could drink the football players under the table, and they go, yeah, go, right? I'm thinking when the doctors would come in and they'd open up my chart and they go, whoa. I'm like, yeah, they're impressed with how much I can drink, right? Then I was annoyed with it a few minutes later, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this IV pole down the elevator and across the street from Harbor General, because I know there's a liquor store. Yeah, self-knowledge does not avail us anything. Your heart just stopped. They're ready to put a needle in me because my liver's distended. I'm like, whatever. Just one more won't hurt. And you don't have to drink the way I drank to feel the way I felt, because I'm telling you, if when you take that one drink, you can't control how much you take after that, you just might be one of us. Welcome. You know? I know what it means and feels like to continue on and thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to. And pouring the alcohol out and going, I'm not going to. And just a few minutes later, I can't bring into my mind with sufficient force why I would pour down the last of my alcohol down this thing. What? Now I got to go find a way to get more. The terror, the bewilderment, the night sweats, the shakes in the morning, the tremors from inside that I don't even know where they're coming from, but something's trembling. And I know one thing and one thing only that will stop it. In her book, it says we have two choices: to go on to the bitter end, like clawing through glass, blotting out of our minds our intolerable situation as best we can, or accept help. Give me a minute. I have another idea on how this might work. Help? Accept help? It's a toughie. Seems like, normal people would read it and they go, simple answer. I'm like, no, hold on. Don't push me. Don't want to, jump into anything too quick. So my heart stopped twice, and then beautifully enough, this man named Singin' Sam, you're going to hear an amazing person tomorrow night. Richard has a picture of Singin' Sam, and I think the first time I walked into his place, I just broke to tears. Sam was an old merchant seaman, and he got sober in 1953. So in like 1989 or so, he'd come pick me up, get in the car, he'd drive somewhere, He'd say stuff like, can you hang tough just one more day? He'd also go, if it doesn't say on page whatever that you burn into the consciousness of every man, woman, and child, and at the end of his talk, he'd say, now I'm not sure if it says that on that page, but look, all the newcomers finally opened the book. He said it didn't matter whether you came from Park Bench or Park Place, from Yale or from jail, whether you have a high bottom or a low bottom, it'll kill you just the same. Welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. So Sam would pick me up, and he'd get in the car, and he'd go, men with men, women with women. I'm like, then why do you keep picking me up, man? We go to Birch, and we go to Redgate, and we go to all these Alano clubs that look like they were in the hood, and, seedy places, and he'd talk for a few minutes and sit down, and we'd drive somewhere else. I'm like, oh, my God. But he got me in a place named Redgate. Oh, shaky. Oh, shaky. I just remember trying to go up this, what I've realized is only just a few feet, but this long, never-ending hallway with the shaking glass thing, and then I had a grand mal seizure there, so that was the worst week of my life, and then I was cured. And I'm like, no, I just needed a week. I'm good, thanks. You gave me some good information. I'm out of here. I'm sure I can handle this all by myself now. Hi, I'm back. Can I get back in there for that longer program thing you got? Some brilliant person in there said, find somebody where you want what they have, right? So I did. He had a few days more than me, and he sang me a song. I was in love. Then he stole my car, so I married him. Yeah, that happened. So then I was going to be the strong AA person, and I'm not going to no, if you can't stay sober, we're not going to be together. But that didn't last long. But I stayed sober, he didn't. I was 2 years sober when a pancreatic cyst crushed my lung, esophagus, and diaphragm. And I was pregnant with my son, and I'm walking to Cedars-Sinai, and he's in the car behind me yelling out the window, "You AA Nazi! Give me the card for the bank." And I'm like, "Go away, stop, I'm in pain." I get to the hospital, I'm thinking, why aren't those people here from AA? What is all this whole, like, we're here for you thing going on? It was not there. Then the light went on, and I'm like, oh, that's because I've been telling him, it's fine. No, he's okay, we're good. Everything's, because I can't have you guys in AA judge me that I picked the wrong guy, you know? Until I had to leave him and come to you guys again and say, I can't do that. You know, when you show up at your dad's house, like after midnight, with the baby in one hand and the VCR in the other, and go, "Hi, just thought you want to watch a movie." No, I'm not trying to take everything we own that he would want to sell. No, no, it's fine. It's fine. Now I want to talk a little bit about, now, I managed to stay sober for 7 years, right? My sobriety date now is 5/6/98. So I've had 2 sobriety dates now. And it's funny because when you relapse, there's that question everybody asks you when you walk back in the room. They all look at you and go, why'd you do it? Why? You ask an alcoholic that question, they'll offer you 1,000 different excuses. The most honest one is, oh. But my quick thinking mind, first thing I did when people would ask me, I go, all right, what's the right AA answer so they like me? Because I don't know who these we of Alcoholics Anonymous are, but they're out there. I got to get in with the we crowd, you know? So they ask me, why'd you do it? And I go, didn't go to meetings, didn't have a sponsor, didn't do the steps, right? Right? That's what they say, it always is, right? So, but the fact of the matter is that I was going to meetings. I had a sponsor. I had done the steps. Heck, I was even sponsoring girls. What I really wasn't doing was living in 10, 11, 12. And I wasn't really sure how to sponsor people either. But that's what I was taught. And it's not that I was taught wrong or that I didn't learn wrong. It's fine. I'm just saying that there's a difference between, you know, when somebody asked me to sponsor them after I had like 5 years, I'm like, oh, yes, I'll sponsor you. I've arrived now. Oh, shit. What am I supposed to do? Oh, yeah. Call me every day or you're fired. That's one. I knew that's a rule. That's a rule. You can't sleep with anybody in the first year. That's another one. Oh, yeah. You're going to do your life story, and then I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you. We're going to get all your characters down, and I'll tell you whether you can go on or not. Because I'm the sponsor, you have to be willing to do everything I say. Whatever. You know. I was kind of winging it. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't wing it if you're new to sponsoring or new to helping people. Bring a book along. The directions are in there. So very clear-cut directions. So anyway, I had relapsed, and so funny. I went to a place called Foley House. And I had some time, I'm thinking, you know, till the counselor asked me, well, because, you know, I knew the book, well, I knew 449. Yeah, 449, acceptance. Yes, I know that in the 4th edition, it's on 417. But I got sober with the 3rd edition, and I could not accept the fact that they changed 449. Was having a very hard time with that one. So she'd ask me, what is it you think you're going to learn now that you've had some time and that you've done this stuff? And I'm like, oh, I swallowed hard. And I remember thinking, this is probably one of the very rare, honest things that I remember even saying. And I looked at her and I just went, I just want to know where the pain comes from. Because that didn't go away. I can't swallow to get to it, and I can't blame it on anything, but it hurts. She went, fine, meet me in my office. Oh. Anybody going through a recovery place in early sobriety? Oh, love it. There was Susie that wouldn't wash the spoon. Oh my God, she's just wrong. I don't like her. I go to the counselor, tell her that, because it's my job to make sure that she knows Susie didn't wash the spoon. It was her chore. She was the cook, not the dishwasher, blah, blah, blah. And she'd go, well, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything. I'm just letting you know she's wrong. This woman is just, I'm not going to like this. And when in our book, when it talks about self-will run riot, it talks about the man that lulls in the Florida sunshine and complains about the sad state of the union. I'm like, I totally can't relate. But I'd sit at that recovery home and I go, if I ran this place, I would not have that silly rule of me not being able to use the phone. So you're lulling, deciding that if you ran this place, I'm like, yeah, but I totally can't relate to the self-will thing. I'm not selfish. I'm a giving, loving person. I will give $1 to anybody. I'm kind. What? I don't understand this. What? Plus, I heard in meetings, because, I had some time before, that this self-will run riot thing is a bad thing. Because everybody always says it like it's like, oh, there's self-will run riot. I'm like, huh. Well, I'm definitely not that. I don't know what it is, but I'm not it. When I got back, I asked a woman that I knew for many years to sponsor me. And I gracefully or dramatically went to her and was like, she's going to say yes because she loves me. Becky, will you sponsor me? She goes, you got a book? Of course I got a book. I've had a book. $4.49, remember? And she goes, well, you're going to read it. Talk to me tomorrow. And I'm like, huh? She didn't jump at the chance to sponsor me? What? But she was doing exactly as it says in working with others. You got a book? We're going to read it. Talk to me later. And on her second visit, she explained to me that she's done the steps out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I can show you where the clear-cut directions are, different from my experience, where I can offer much practical advice. And I'm available if you wish to make a decision, your 3rd step, or tell your story in your 5th. But I'm not going to insist upon it. She was doing it exactly as it was there. And then she showed me where it was in the book. I'm like, that's in there? What? Wow. This might be pretty interesting. You mean the whole thing isn't the book? That's the program, the first 164 and the rest of its story? What? Wow. She walked me through that thing so beautifully without judgment. She didn't say, shut up, take the cotton out of your ears, you don't know any, you know what I mean? She didn't criticize. She just said, if you're willing to do this thing, I've walked through it and I can show you how. To live in 10, 11, 12, we can live in 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12 from day one. You don't have to sponsor somebody to reach your hand out and go, hi, you're new here? I have 3 days. You got a book? I know where the meeting is. Out of self, out of self, out of self. So she takes me through this book. I'm amazed at some of the stuff that's in there. Bill's story, I just kind of cruised through that whole first doggerel thing. Who wants to read that? Wah, wah, wah. Skip to the good parts. Where are the steps at? That whole doggerel thing, very good. The tombstone. Normal people don't remember stuff like that. We do. It's kind of like I stumbled outside in a drunken stupor and bumped into this, curly blonde's tombstone. It's a few years older than me that died of alcoholism. And I go, what's that doing there? God's going, hello. All right. Later on, it came back to him. Dr. Silkworth, who worked at Doctor's Opinion, not Dr. Bob, our founder. I didn't know that either. It's kind of like I went to the detox 3 times and to the ER, and the doctor in the ER looks at me and goes, you again. Sorry. I mean, I've studied a long time, but we don't have a pill that'll fix you. You got this allergy. Whatever those guys have to say seems to work. Go talk to them. And in those first few chapters, I get that, me too. I did that. Oh my God, I felt that way. That steps 1 and 2 are found in reading the book. What? We have a whole chapter dedicated to don't overthink the God thing either. My goodness. I remember one sponsor was saying, you know, you can't go on unless you know who God is. Do I need a permission slip? Do I have to do a selfie with him? Make sure I met him. Can I go on now? There's a whole chapter dedicated to don't overthink the God thing. Really, that's we agnostics, a whole lot. To say, I lack that power. At home by myself. Do you know a spiritual experience does not have to be like crack in the wall and something breaking through? It says a personality change. It's sufficient to bring about recovery. So if yesterday I was sitting at home going, screw that, I'm not going back to AA. I'm embarrassed, I don't want to. And today I'm in a meeting. Something happened. Something. A little crack. Enough to bring about my recovery. If I walked in that door, that's enough to have a spiritual experience. But alone by myself, I lack that power. I lack the ability to stop on my own. I do, I don't, I do, I wanna, I don't wanna. I really wanna believe that I do, but I can't. And I can't get you guys out of my head. We get into chapter 5, and I love it. When I first came in, I'd hear this, honest. It mentions that. They read it at the beginning of every meeting. I'm thinking, my God, I don't know if I can be really honest. How honest do I have to be? But the part that says, we beg of you to be fearless. That makes me swallow hard. We don't mean like go save a baby, pick up a bus, and, you know, although impressive, not what we're talking about, okay? That gripping terror, that fear, that insecurity, I'm not enough. What if you don't like me? What if I fail? What if I can't? What if I don't want it? What if you don't understand what this brain says to me when you're not? We beg of you to be fearless. Grab our hand. Hold my hand. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. If you've got A, B, and C, then you've already done steps 1 and 2. Oh my God, I'm an alcoholic. No human power, not him, not the doctor, not this, not that, could get me sober. Something bigger than me, and just you guys sitting in a room is a whole lot bigger than me because alone I lack that power. Well, good, you're ready for 3. Now, based on my old sobriety, the other sobriety, I'd hear, you know, because I'd hear what you guys say in a meeting. People would say, 3rd step, gave it to God. Did the 3rd step, gave it to God. Yeah, don't need to deal with that because it's God's will, not my will. Nope, yep. Saying the prayer sometimes didn't make any more sense, but I'd be like, did a 3rd step, gave it to God. You know, the 3rd step has got nothing to do with really giving it to God. It's got to do with God giving it to you. Whatever your God may be. It's kind of like, do with me as you wish. If I opened my arms up today and I went, what you got for me? Oh, 4-step? No, I'm not doing that. Take away my difficulties with self, me. It doesn't say take Susie out of the picture, you know, or my paying the bills or anything else. Take me, my insecurities, my fear, I don't want to, what if I can't, what if you judge me, what if you don't? Take me out of the picture so I can walk through whatever you just gave me, victory over this, so that I can bear witness and put my hand out to somebody else tomorrow. So really, it's more about me walking through something than me just giving it to God. Trippy, huh? You know, the other thing I like to mention too, which is kind of one of my pet peeves, but we're not a religious group. I spoke somewhere once, and this girl was standing beside me, and she needed a book, and we got her a book. And then she says, I had one more question for you. And I said, what? And she goes, well, and you could feel her hand trembling, and she goes, I was wondering if it's okay if I come back. She kind of turned to make sure and asked me. She goes, I only have 2 days, but the lady next to me said, you know, if I stick around, I'll find Jesus. You know, and we're Jewish. Is there somewhere else I'm supposed to go? And I was like, no, sweetheart, you're right where you need to be. So it's funny when we have our own experience, make sure that our experience doesn't intrude or block somebody else's. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing we got here. So anyway, we journey into this 4-step, and she tells me I'm going to write this stuff down. That's another thing that I thought was a little weird. Anybody ever hear about people going out on their 4-step? Write me a list of everything that's ever made you feel pissed off, burned up, sore, hurt, angry. Anything that's ever made you feel like drinking, write it all down. Call me next week. Then I want you to write a list of your fears, too. Okay, good. Yeah. This is going good so far. There's a way to go about it that you don't get all like, argh, okay? Make sure you got somebody who knows how to walk you through it. But there's, you know, it starts off with resentments, and then we throw fear and sex in it too. They go so well together. But the resentments, I'm thinking, yeah, I got nothing. But if you walk me outside, you know, the grouch and the brainstorm, if I walk me outside and you ask me why I don't like Susie, I'd be like, well, she tried to steal my boyfriend, then she did this, then I think she stole money out of my purse, and blah, 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 right? I just did my couple columns right there on Susie. Boom, boom, boom. But you asked me to put pen to paper, I'm like, got nothing. Right? Yeah, you know. That's what we do. We already know what it is. Yeah, that one, right? But me being blocked from the sunlight of the Spirit, my deciding that I can't stand Susie is just that she's wrong for not washing the spoon, man, blocks me from the sunlight of the Spirit. Now, what's that supposed to mean? Well, I'm blocked from the sunlight of the Spirit. The insanity in my head returns. I could drink and die. Well, thank you very much. Now Susie's going to cause me to die. I hate her. This is going nowhere. And I can't grouch about it. That means I can't gossip and badmouth her all over the place, you know. And it says, you ever hear that thing where you got to pray for somebody? Pray for that one. They're a sick one, right? That's not the prayer for the 4-step, by the way. But people tell you that, you know, just pray for them for 2 weeks. I'm like, no, that's out of one of the stories, okay? It says if, you know, I don't want to pray for Susie to get everything that she wants. She wants my shit. No! But if Susie has the flu and I have the flu, but I lost my voice, my nose, she looks fine. She might have an upset stomach. Does that mean one of us has the flu and the other one doesn't? No, our symptoms are different. So it just says, while I'm writing down this list of things, I might want to say, hey, God, this person, just like myself, although our symptoms are different, may be spiritually sick. Save me from being angry while I'm doing this thing so I can learn a little bit about me. Yeah. Fancy to real, man. Fancy to real. You tell me I got a spider in my hair. Trust me, I'm going to jump. I'm like, what the? Really? My heart might race a little bit. Does there have to be a spider there? No. Do I have to prove that she talked bad about me? No, just write the stuff down. You know, write it down. How free do you want to be, man? Seriously. Then we get to fear and sex. Love that. I was really looking forward to this too. My sponsor's gonna love this one. Yeah. Man on pool table. Woo-hoo. Well, why'd you write that down? It's a good story. Well, did you arouse jealousy, suspicion, or fear? I'm like, no, I won the game. It doesn't belong on your list. What? It just says subject each relationship to it. So then you write down, oh, back to looking at me. Okay. All of a sudden, my sponsor comes up in my sexual inventory. No, I did not have sex with my sponsor. It's the first place jealousy's written. She had just said yes to a new girl, and I was her only sponsee for the longest time, and all of a sudden I'm like, she's mine. She can't sponsor anybody else. Does it belong to me? Yes. Susie walks into the room. You know, I mentioned her, my arch nemesis now in AA. She walks into the room with Bob. Now, Bob's had eyes for me for a long time. Couldn't have anything to do with him. Until he walks in with Susie, all of a sudden Bob looks so much better than he ever did. So I run up to Bob. Oh, hi, Bob. How are you? Oh, it's so good to see you. Yeah, you're looking good. Oh, you two are together? I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Oh, it's so nice seeing you again. Bye. Did I arouse jealousy, suspicion, or fear in Susie? I certainly hope so. Yes, that was my intention. I only came in with so many tools. Come on. It goes on the list? Really? Dang. All right. Where do I write the dog from Mr. Brown? No sex, fear. Have a page that just says, I have no idea where to put it. I just need to write it down. Okay? Get it on paper. Doesn't matter when it comes up. These are all kind of prompts that we're doing so we can get this stuff down there. Because in the process, I'm learning a few facts about me. While I'm doing this stuff, I start to turn a page and I go, that might be a character defect. Oh, we'll write that down. And then I'm learning a few. Because when you get to the next chapter, it goes, you already made the list when you did your inventory. Well, why didn't you tell me that before I burned it? Don't do that. So now I've got my list. I got my list of character defects. I'm grateful to learn that, good and bad, 7-step. Not just God is going to accept me good and bad and help me get rid of anything that's going to keep me from being helpful to you. But that you guys are going to love each and every part of me, good and bad. My sponsor was she wasn't going to throw me away when she heard this. She's going to help me write my list of people to say, I was wrong. Not, whoops, sorry. Said a lot of that. But I was wrong and how to make it right. Amend, to change, to make amends and change what happened. What a process, man. It's a beautiful thing. By this time now, I'm starting to feel a little different from that terrified, trembling girl that was in the bathroom going, I just don't want to do this anymore, and I want to know where the pain comes from. Now I got a chance to feel a little bit of freedom. I'm starting to feel comfortable here. Maybe some hope, some freedom, some experiences, so that maybe I might be able to reach my hand out to somebody and say, I've done the work out of that book. Remember I said, 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12. We keep living in those. I have to live in 10, 11, 12. Because just because I did the steps doesn't mean the stuff doesn't come up again. Trust me. You ever see me driving down the street with my cell phone going, my gosh, that person's on their phone. Yeah. These things come up. So 10, I'm going to keep checking myself. I'm going to keep making sure, right? Prayer meditation. And I'm going to take somebody, if they ask, make sure they got a book, and take them into that chapter 7. What a beautiful thing we got here. What a beautiful gift we've got here. The ability to reach our hand out and say, you know what, I've done it. I know how you feel. Welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't know who the we was. That little boy of mine, there's days that sometimes we go through grabbing so tight that my hand turns white to the shirt or the hand of the person that might be able to help carry me through. And when my son, they hit a code blue on my son, who's now 26. Shut the curtains. And he went into a coma. I couldn't leave that hospital, but you guys knew to come to me. That wasn't the girl that sponsors and has grand sponsors and great, that goes to meetings and does all that. That's just one alcoholic going, it's hurting today. I need you. Help. And And I'm able to do that with you guys today. I'm able to do that. That girl that walked into these rooms and said, I don't know who the we are that wrote that thing. Who are the we? When I got through those steps, I became part of the we of Alcoholics Anonymous. And you are too. You are too. If you're sitting here, you're doing it already. There was a girl once that asked me to talk. Somebody asked me to talk to her, so I sat down on the little bench that we have in our Alano Club, and I was like, answered her question, whatever it was, and she starts crying. I don't always have that effect on people, but she starts crying, and I'm like, are you all right? And she goes, I've always hated you. Okay. I said, well, you can go right on hating me, but you have my number. If you need me, you call. That's not the person concerned whether you like me, whether you approve of me. That's me being part of the we of Alcoholics Anonymous. You guys taught me that. I didn't learn that on my own, and I certainly didn't come in with it. It wasn't necessarily whether she did or didn't like me, but was I able to help? You guys were able to help me tonight. If you forgot anything else I said, anything, just breathe. Stick around. Let your ice cube melt. You're worth it. It's a heck of a deal we got. I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about this roundup, and I'm excited to spend it with you guys. And I really want to thank you for letting me come and share my story with you. My name is Kelly, and I am an alcoholic. Thank you.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. and I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.